on that same vein, kind of coming back to it full circle to kind of like this team analogy, how would you, in this like space, if you could, how would you design a team? Like, what would you need to do? Like, I've always thought of like ops is gone more of a seat of a table and become more important over the years. But it feels like with the advent of more integrations, the complexity of projects, I've heard around like some teams start having like a project manager assigned to like a ops huddler group, some engineering resources or some like analytics resources. Again, these are things that like in my wish list that I wish I had in previous roles. I guess like what would be your take? Like what would be like some of the DNA makeup of the team? Like how would you stack the team with these different competencies, not just in ops, but like to complement ops as well?
Yeah, again, it goes back. I think of it as like kind of that Kanban board, and everybody's got role and responsibilities. And across the top, I would break it down like marketing operations is one, and content is a team, client services is a team. Although I'm a big believer in everybody's on the client services team, right? Again, it would keep going. I need my own web dev team. And these teams don't need to be big, but I need somebody at the top that's responsible for the head of the department per se. And then however many they trickle down. And even like these folks, I don't think there's an issue with the head of web dev doing some actual hands-on work or the head of MOPs doing some hands-on work. I know it's like taboo for, directors to, get in there nowadays. Sometimes it's, I can do it, I can record it, right, and teach something to my team. Sometimes it's just easier based on you're having a direct conversation with the client. It's simple, knock it out. So, I would, in terms of, CRM, I would have a sales ops. I don't think I need designated rev ops at this point, but I'm looking for a head of each department. That's their specialty. And then under that, those folks, I would recommend they hire one person at least that's like, web dev or their respective specialty is there. So you kind of have like your lieutenant, if you will. If you have the head of the department, in my opinion, responsible for everything from the templatizing and documentation, knowing what's going on within the respective teams, to talking to the other heads of the departments to make sure that cross-reference is flowing right. But anyways, after the head of the department and the second in command, there's from that point, I think you're just looking for those junior people now and the skill sets. We started, rather young in this and build it up. So without, and that's been 10 years in the works or whatever it's been, there's going to be a next generation. There's things like highway education and all these great, education specific MOPS programs now. These kids really have a head start. So, if you want somebody less junior, but more specific, you can start to look at those types of things. But I really think, if you're looking for a good human being, of course, like, I'm not a huge culture guy, right? But I mean, I have to be a good human and, do the right thing, right? Somebody who's honest and transparency. I don't like people who try to hide things. Mistakes happen. Let's see what happened. Try to put something in place to block and move on. And then that's when you get to the point where, all right, those are like the two requirements. Let's start looking. Are they technical? Are they better with content? What was their background in college or their recent job? Maybe they were client services, but maybe they're good copywriters. Let's give them a shot. So, or maybe we put them on the client services team and give them a shot at writing copy. So I think it becomes like, we have these Kanban board type silos, and like there's a threshold where a project passes over from one. Now that's easier said of what that threshold really is. And people to the dawn of time will be arguing of whose responsibility it is. But again, if you have it clear and concise, documented, somebody comes in and you preach it day one, you practice what you preach as a leader, I think, chances are you're going to follow it. Whereas you let something go for a year, especially agency side, it's too late. People are just going to do what they want.